Alright, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, and everything in between. It is time for the next installment of the Dive Bomb Arc Formula 1 Championship. This time from Zandvoort for the Dutch Grand Prix. Don't spin it. We're on board with Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, as he will be the first person to begin a flying lap in the session. The stream system decided to actually be on the ball today, and not take 7 minutes to begin. Also helpful, I was on the ball today and didn't take 7 minutes to log in. So that's always nice. I have a little bit of apprehension about this Grand Prix. This doesn't usually generate the most overtakes or excitement. The ones that do happen are interesting to watch, but they just are not too common. I'll try and get the track guide out of the way quickly with an onboard with Nico Pichet. What the heck is the chat doing? My word. So head down the main straightaway into turn 1, which is kind of a weird tightening parabolica, like tighter parabolica almost. I am not enthused yet because qualifying hasn't really begun. Okay, now I gotta find somebody else to watch for the truck guide because I'm distracted by the chat. I'm just deadpan, okay? I'm more of an analytical type. Unfortunately, we don't have any full-time commentators that bring the excitement because we can't get any other commentators. Right on board with AJ Knickel as he makes his way through T1. It's like a tighter parabolic. Turns 2, not really a corner. Turn 3, don't clip that curb. That was not great into 4. AJ took the don't clip the curb bit a little too far, and who's on inners? Julius Duku is apparently sandbagging to the highest degree. He's 16.2 is not ideal. Turn 4, I thought the Highline was faster. I think I'm thinking of real life. You have these weird S curves up to what I believe is turn 8, this downhill right, where it's very easy to just not turn in. Luke Allen's out of the session. Turn 9, that is, I think. I'm just guessing at this point. Trail braking into that corner and the next corner, which can be pretty difficult, especially for people without ABS turned on. Oh, somebody there. DRS zone into the hardest corner on the track, because that inside curb is important, but don't hit it too much or you'll just not make the next left. And then two more right-handers. The second one's not really even much of a corner in this kind of car, so and that completes a lap of Zandvoort. And we've just watched an 11 flat, not quite pole, but it's quite close. Only 400ths off of Nico Pichet. Alright, as far in Ferrand, I really need to figure out how to say his name. I say it differently every time. It's like a box of chocolates. Each one is different. Each time I say his last name is different, and I feel like a moron. Thornquist, I'm not really sure what that's supposed to mean. Oh, that's too much curb. I forgot to mention that curb. Turn 1 are really just most inside curbs at this track are just an immediate 360. Apparently Matthew Stotts ran a second lap, and that, despite being on obviously worn tires, heck, his in-lap still looks like a push lap, kinda. This Aston Martin slows down for no one, apparently. Right now the top three are pretty close, and then we just have that midfield of 4th through 8th, and then we have the people who haven't made, or in AJ and Alan's case, won't make representative... They don't have representative laps. Alan's not going to be able to make one, and AJ just didn't make one, so I don't think I think he's probably going to do more than a 12.9 in the race. Francis Farand is, I think, going to try again. His battery's basically full, so you may as well. .26.4, absolutely rapid, not really. Once again, playing chicken with that inside now he finds the outside oh boy, oh boy. Top 10 anime battles, Francis Farand versus the turn 1 curbs. Dylan Thomas is, yeah, he started his lap now. Last time I looked at him he hadn't, but now he has. I don't really know if it's this corner or that sharp right at the end of the second gear zone. That's the hardest corner on the track. The rest generally range from non-existent to slight inconvenience, but those two right-hand turns are just cruel to me. Obviously, if you were good at the game, you'd have less of a problem with it, but I mean, I'm the commentator. I don't have to be good at the game. I have to be good at GT7. And Project Cars 2. Liam Angelo decides he's now part of the top 4. He jumps to 10.7. It's really upping the ante there. Dylan Thomas with a 12 flat, just behind his McLaren teammate, who's also on his way around the track and has currently gained time on his previous. I have no doubt Nico Piche, who's currently going through the last 2 corners, will have some response to... Never mind, his response is to spin. Andrew Davis, back to him. Back to people who are not currently spinning. As Piche's stricken car is just down there. Should be some improvement, and 11.6. No, I'm blind. That's an 11.9. So an improvement of 0.06, but that's not enough to actually go anywhere. Ricky De Jong also joining, well, slightly longer-standing AF1 vet Liam on the front row with an 11.99. That's not a hot lap. Uh-huh. Oh, right. Julius Duku is a person that exists. I'm just like, wait, there's another AlphaTauri? Where'd they come from? Brain? Where did they come from? Where did they go? Where did they come from? Oh, no. Okay, so I adjust my statement. It's no longer inside curbs, it's just curbs. Just no curbs. Come out of your diet. Don't eat them. They're like potato chips, but red, white, and taller than your car. I'm just full of these whimsical nonsense statements, huh? Maybe I'm just coping with the fact that the Dutch Grand Prix hasn't really been very entertaining in ARC or real life, so I'm kind of hoping that we have some of this kind of stuff in the race, but... So Francis Farand is up to the line to try again. Will he reach turn 2 this time? No! Come on! Oh, brother, I shouldn't be laughing, I'm supposed to be professional, but it's just, I don't know. It's just something about Francis versus turn 1. If it were different corners, it would be less funny, but it's the same exact corner every time, and that's just... repetition sometimes breeds comedy, you know? I'm not getting paid for this. If I get paid for it, I'll start acting stoic and screaming at the top of my lungs, but until then, this is just a hobby. Not even a hobby, it's just more like this is just a thing I do because I can and because apparently nobody else wants to at the moment. So, Abdurrahman Al-Hazmi up to the line, 11.006. This top 4 is incredibly well, less so with Liam, but the other 3 are pretty close. Matthew Stott's on his way down the front straightaway. He wants to probably try and join this top 4 if he has anything to say about it. Okay, so some people are taking turn 4 on the high lane, other people are not. I'm not exactly sure which one's the fastest. I don't remember anymore. I think I did know at some point. Oh, okay. It appears that Matthew Stotts didn't hear what I said about the curbs here being monstrous. Second DRS zone into the hardest corner on the track. Actually has to make the car oversteer just to get it to bite. That's too much oversteer. As instead it'll be Jonathan Jurgensmeyer that separates the difference between 4th and everybody else. 11.53 for him. Clay, who's now reserving for Aston Martin this week as opposed to McLaren from last week, I think. Yeah, it was McLaren. He is on his way around. Is this a fast lap? Yeah, it is. So I wasn't paying much attention to the way that he was on and off the gas. I was like, is he even pushing? He might have a bit of an interruption in the way. I'm not sure what that car is. It looks like that's Jurgensmeyer, so... yeah, that has to be. It's the only white car here that's on the track. It just escapes the Aston Martin's path. And the reserve will head up to the line. He might be joining them up there too, an 11.2. So, the difference between 4th and everybody else gets ever smaller with that 5th place lap. So basically 1st through 5th less than half second apart. And we are heading towards the deep end of this qualifying session, so for most drivers that are about to begin a lap, this will be their last one. This will be Nico Pichet's last run here. That is the world's longest outlap. Oh, this is slightly inconvenient. He barely gets clear of them before it becomes a hassle. If Pichet is running low, I can only assume that that's the faster way to go around it. I think I'm gonna trust the driving judgment of the guy that's won, what, 6 races in a row? Maybe I don't. Another victim claimed by these Zandvoort curbs. This may be the home of Super Max Verstappen, but the only thing maximized here are the curb heights. Francis Friend seems to be on a hot lap, and he actually has made it past turn 1 this time. Unsurprisingly, 13 seconds up on his previous run. Suppose that's what happens when you survive turn 1. Matthew Stotts' qualifying is over. What will the Mercedes run? 11:57. Doesn't even dethrone the Haas ahead of him. Kyber Boggs, same case. He's up to the line. Never mind, he's starting a lap. Who's not about to start a lap? Is he about to start one? Yes, okay, well. Make a mental note, what order here? Looks like Jurgensmeyer is aborting that. Now that's an in lap. This is the lap. Looks like Julius Duku is going to be next to finish. No, this is an in lap, I think. I don't know anymore, man. I'm just going to say Kyber Boggs. I think he's the first one on. The two Williams, I think, just began their lap, so they'll be the last ones to look at. There's a Merc out of the way, so that's Francis on his in-lap. Bichet is done. Obviously, he's ran his lap. He ain't gonna get any more out of those tires. The AlphaTauri is up to the line. What will it be for Boggs? It is going to be an 11.50. Right smack in the middle. Next should be Liam Angelo. Never mind, his lap isn't valid. It's actually Dylan Thomas, who runs an 11.9, and that is no improvement. His teammate improved a little bit, but not a ton. Improved enough to jump Stotts on the leaderboard, but that's the most he's done. Jurgensmeyer, that's an in-lap. Boggs, in-lap, so I think it's just Mikey De Jong. He heads up to the last turn. He's up a 10th, but he needs to find a touch more than that if he's going to grab pole from Liam. At the finish, it is a 10.81. 9/10 or 9/100ths off of his goal. So it is going to be... Unless you seriously mean to tell me that this is a hot lap. He's driving like it is, but I'm pretty sure it isn't because he's got 5% DRS. DRS? ERS. Also, apparently, Hazmi had another lap going, but he disconnected? I didn't see that happen. And, his AI pitted in. So the second that the game receives Francis's car is the end of this qualifying session. A qualifying session filled with probably more spills than thrills, if I gotta be honest. A lot of curbs catching people asleep and sending them for a wild ride. So, actually no, I have the formation lap. Just run through the grid then. The gist of it is, Liam Angelo Carre takes pole, and Nicolas Piché shows his first sign of any sort of vulnerability in this one, but he has kind of a cushion, because Ethan Fonseca, for the second week running, is not even here. The one person who's consistently been there to try and at least make him have to try to win the race is absent again. That's his main title rival, so this is pretty much championship suicide for Ethan, missing these two races. I think I have a guess as to why he's missing them, but it's it's neither here nor there, as my throat continues to argue with me. Absolute L for Team 44 today. Well, you can't win them all, AJ. Especially not when your team got a 1-2-3 at Dover on Wednesday. I swear that's my chair. It's not what you think it is. I have a leather love seat I sit in. As the lap of formation gets underway, let's take a brief look at the starting grid for this Grand Prix. It is Liam Angelo Carrig on pole position, followed by Mike De Jong, Abdurrahman Al-Hazmi, Nico Pichet, the reserve driver, Clay, in the Aston Martin, Kyler Boggs in 6th, followed by Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, Francis Farand, I don't know, Andrew Davis, Matthew Stotts, Dylan Thomas, Julius Duku, and the absolute L for Team 44, with AJ Knickel and Luke Allen taking up the bottom row on today's grid. I assume FBR is the McLarens. For some reason I thought that was like a... What did I think they were? I don't know. There's an interesting mix of tire compounds equipped on the start here. Front row's on hards, Pichet's on hards, and most of the grid is on hards, but we have Al-Hazmi splitting strategies with his teammate, the reserve driver, Clay, Jurgensmeyer, Andrew Davis running on mediums at the start, and AJ Knickel is going for the send it strategy, and he's starting the race on the soft compound. Not a bad idea, especially if any of these curbs claim anybody in the first couple of laps, then suddenly AJ is looking a heck of a lot better off. As people attempt to do basic parking, and they don't in the case of Clay and Davis. Five red lights are lit, and now they are green, and so is the Dutch Grand Prix. This camera is not great. Mikey De Jong gets absolutely demolished off the start by his teammate, and Pichet almost got by him too. Head up towards turn 4. People like to get a little choppy through here, as I think I just saw Francis just tightrope walk between Clay and Davis. As nobody's really plummeting. Everyone's managed to stay remotely clean through the first sector of the first lap, at least. The interval's just not working. As we look at position change so far, AJ Knickel with a rocket start, already looking at a 5th position off the grid here, and he's going to get it on the inside of Clay. Is he going to get another one on Francis? He just might. He's got a pretty big run, but that's not the best passing zone, despite the fact that the DRS zone is there to sort of inform that it would be. As everyone seems to have gotten relatively settled in here at the end of the first lap of racing. Clay's got a gargantuan run on that Alpine. It did kind of die off the second he wasn't in the slipstream, though, so I don't know. I guess maybe it wasn't that much of a run. Wasn't that much of a run. Yep, that wasn't much of English either. Oh. Nearly some contact between the Aston and the Alpine. Andrew, I think, tried to throw it up the inside of Clay, but the exit on the outside keeps the Aston Martin in place for the moment. No, AJ enters on the inside, but then doesn't stay there. Francis leaves the room anyway. It just is playing peekaboo with the McLaren? Yeah? The Mercedes driver up ahead, but he's not able to get anything concrete in. Oh, both drivers absolutely out of control, clipping an inside curb. AJ slightly less out of control, too wide with the Mercedes as they head down the front stretch. They're 3 wide, glad I zoomed the camera out, but Clay decides that that's not the best idea. Him backing out actually might lose him a place to Andrew Davis as Knickel completes the move on his fellow Canadian. I don't know, is native French Canada and Nova Scotia Canada even the same Canada? Neither here nor there. I don't know what I'm ranting about here. As Al-Hazmi is putting some pressure on Liam. He does have the softer tires, so that's kind of what's supposed to be happening right now. Doing anything less would be considered a disappointment. And Julius Dooku ran off track or something or other. DRS is now in play, but that DRS zone hardly means a thing. It's the one on the front stretch that's actually going to matter. And oh boy, is it going to matter. The Williams driver grabs the lead from the Mercedes as we head into lap 4. Liam almost runs straight through the Williams. That seems to have been the only thing that took place. As it is actually, there are a few people that are trying the high lane to get exits. Can this coughing exit me? That'd be great. Oh my god, Clay. He is right there. DRS is in play, but for both drivers, so it actually means next to nothing. Looking up the field, there aren't many drivers in a prime position to take a position. That sounds redundant, except for AJ, because the car ahead of him, Kyler Boggs, has no DRS assistance. However, also, that's pretty far back, so doesn't quite help yet. But I think that'll be something to keep in mind that soon, that AJ is very obviously very fast on these soft tires. Enjoy it while it lasts, I say, because eventually, AJ, you'll be on the harder tires. You might be looking at sizing up a move. Oh, not if you hit that curb, you're not. It's like he knew he hit that curb before he hit it, so he was making steering corrections before he was spinning. AJ just saw into the future, and the future was pretty grim, I guess. The grass on the tires heading into the last 2 turns. Closer this time, but with not a whole lot of battery worth speaking of. If anything, it might be AJ that's under more threat than Kyler is, because Francis is the one behind AJ, and while he's on the hard tires, he's also got a lot more battery than either of these two do. Not the prettiest exit for Kyler. I'm surprised his car stayed planted just there. That had a spin written all over it, if you ask me. Oh, Francis is putting his nose there. That's really not helping AJ's case at this moment. Especially when AJ's strategy generally seems to be arc it wide and get the exit out of turns, whereas Francis is just curb, inside lane. Once again, no battery, same distance from as before, and here comes Francis taking the outside on the Alpine. AJ aggressive through one, nearly drives straight through Kyler. But things remain the status quo, and then it's now a 5-car train behind the AlphaTauri is... well, just don't have the battery up here, but they have the position and they have the tire grip to stay ahead of Francis. Now Francis has to worry about the other two as he makes a major error over a curb. Lets Andrew Davis pass. Might let Clay pass too if he's not careful. Clay with the crossover maneuver, but it's not going to help him too much. He couldn't quite point and shoot as he wanted to, therefore he couldn't get an exit over the Merc. I think Jurgens may have made a mistake in recent history as Nico Piche runs the fastest lap of the race, so that ought to send a message to the lead 3 that, you know, oh hey, I'm still here. I mean, duh. Especially when they're this close together at the front, I don't think you'd be able to forget that he's there, but you know what I mean. AJ keeps getting really close to Boggs at the wrong parts of the track. He might eventually have to try and make a move that's ill-advised, like one into this turn. It's like the worst possible place to make an overtake, but it's also the only place that AJ can get a run on the AlphaTauri driver. My throat, man. Suddenly Andrew Davis enters the picture, and AJ Knickel has had a moment through T1. Luke Allen and Dylan Thomas are battling. I've never had to speak so many first names in a row. And I don't remember who was where, but I think that's defense from the McLaren. Yeah, the other McLaren of Andrew is right there on AJ. Another overtake attempt gone awry, or really just another run down the front stretch might be enough for AJ to be under threat again, this time from a different Mercedes powered unit. The method to AJ's madness through these long sweepers of arc wide, get the exit like he's playing NASCAR, are about the only thing keeping him alive for the moment. Had Davis used the battery there, I think he would have had a chance of passing AJ, but he did not. Mikey De Jong might soon be setting up a pass on Liam Angelo, which would be much more impactful than Al-Hazmi's overtake on the Mercedes, as these two are on the exact same strategy. And while further back, I think Andrew Davis made a mistake. That lets Francis creep on back through. Now at this point, AJ finds himself not even in DRS range of Kyler Boggs, and Kyler Boggs will instead find himself in range of Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, who's really fallen off the deep end here as far as pace goes. I think if anybody's going to make an overtake on this lap, it could have been Clay, but Andrew Davis just has more battery. I think Matthew Stott's clipped the curb through one, and he's back down to 13th. As I only now have observed that Julius Duku is having a nightmare GP at the moment, running 45 seconds off of 13th place, and not all that far away from being put a lap down by the lead pack. Francis keeps just mildly inconveniencing AJ. Now he's going to do a bit more than that. He's going to go to his outside, and this is not a usual passing zone. That's particularly why, because there's not a lot of space there. I think Francis just choked AJ off there, trying to either get back ahead or assert a message, and now Andrew Davis passes the pair of them. Very heads-up driving from the McLaren. What does Francis have to say about that? Not to mention Clay taking advantage. I might as well go into third person here. Francis will take 7th back from the McLaren, and Clay will most likely, yeah, now he is clear of the Alpine driver. We have another spin. It's Julius once more. So the train cars have swapped around, and now suddenly Francis is an object in the distance, as he's kind of working at picking away at Jurgensmeyer for P5. Oh! Huge moment for Andrew Davis, and Clay takes full advantage of that. Andrew does have the run out though, and he might look at, no, he does not retaliate. That's not the word. He does not return the favor of overtaking. He just stays and waits, probably because there's a front straightaway to use instead. Oh my god, my throat is not working. Oh. Nickel gets the slowest speeding penalty I ever did see, as his soft tires have worn out. He's going on to mediums. Can they go that far? Now suddenly the development is Jurgensmeyer has he's held up Kyler Boggs and he's pushed him back into this train. Francis is gonna probably get up to them by the end of this straightaway. And Kyler Boggs has no battery worth speaking of, so he can't make a pass and escape. Andrew Davis pits in. Pretty wise choice, seeing as he's pitting out of that train. And might get a chance to run in clean-ish air. As there's our first DNF of the session. Not quite the way I expected. It's AJ Knickel, and that has summoned the safety car. As Nico Piche gets a time penalty for hitting a car that's all the way up there. Ugh! Man. Congestion is not helping me commentate this at all. I don't know if this helps or kills Abdurrahman. As, well, he's gonna get his pit stop. So is everyone else. He's not gonna be the fastest car on track again until, like, lap 35. The Williams are forced to double stack it, which will not help Mikey's case all that much. Well, it wouldn't have, but Nico Piche served his drive or served his penalties, so ultimately that collision is just nullified completely if it ever even happened in the first place. I think literally every driver has pit here except for the two that already just did. Well, one, because the one of the cars that just pit is also out of the Grand Prix, so he can't pit again. Everybody is here except for Dooku, so I don't know what the game will do. I don't I don't think the safety car will go in this lap though, unless he really hauls and gets there in time. But considering where he is in relation to where the safety car is, I don't think that's going to happen, so we're gonna have a second lap under the safety car. The game is showing every single driver is down on fuel, which I'm gonna go ahead and guess is a complete lie. So, congratulations Codemasters, you introduced another bug into spectator mode. Just another bug in general for that matter. And show me fake fuel indicators, because you can't even program that right anymore. Oh my god! Maybe if the safety car is not in this lap, I should use the last lap under it to try and get this congestion out of my freaking esophagus so I can talk. That is kind of an important part of commentating, is commentating. Yeah, it's it ain't gonna be in this lap. But it's said right there. Well, that didn't help much. I think that actually just got it more in the way instead of getting it out of my system. course, the congestion only really rears its head when I'm trying to commentate. As Julius Dooku is finally at the back of the queue. So we are, I'm pretty sure, going green on this lap. So we'll reach half distance just about when we take the green. And the real tribulation here is going to be on the leader in the Williams. Can he hold off like pretty much the whole field that's on the softer tires, at least for the next 15-20 laps until his tires, well, there aren't 20 laps left, like 15-16 laps until his tires are competitive again? I'm gonna guess no, but then again, this is Zandvoort, and passing here is obviously not easy. As he floors it, so we are once more green from the Dutch Grand Prix. Kyler Boggs got a decent restart. He's down the inside of Jurgensmeyer, somebody he was eyeballing before the safety car came out. Francis Friend follows Kyler Boggs through ahead of the Haas car, and Luke Allen is spinning. So he's been demoted to last. Not excellent. Getting very hairy here in the back part of the field. Is contact between teammates, which I think may have been instigated by the existence of one Aston Martin. And that collision has clearly dealt significant damage to Dylan Thomas's McLaren. Maybe not, I don't know. Must not be too much damage, he ain't pitting. Okay, Liam Angelo takes the lead away from the Williams driver and then proceeds to not give him any space on exit. The only two on the track, am I right? And they find some way to get in each other's way for P10. Matthew Stotts does the Matthew Stotts thing, retiring the pit lane. And yeah, I think it's only downhill from here for the Williams. His teammate Mikey, and I'm sure soon enough Nico Pichet will follow him straight for him being Liam. As Julius Dooku is clearly enjoying life on these newer tires, as he's now up to 8th place, ahead of Jonathan Jurgensmeyer now. Looks like we might soon be looking at a battle between two former teammates, as Abdurrahman is indeed losing all of that ground on the harder compound. As now Luke Allen comes to blows with Dylan Thomas. Didn't quite see the magnitude of the incident, but it left, clearly has made both drivers not fast in these corners, and it gave Luke Allen a time penalty. Luke Allen's like, I'm less damaged, I shall pass. The L on Team 44R, try again. This Team 44R continues to take L after L. And it's going to be a W for Nico Pichet heading to T1. He just scorches ahead of that Williams. Francis Ferrand's not quite in with a chance there. Oh boy, like the YouTube chat's about to get a little bit dicey. Whoa! Kyler Boggs has spun, as I can only presume that's on an outside curb of some description. So I guess there's that. So much for that battle between teammates. Ooh. Kyler Boggs trying to go back there, I guess. Spin of his own. Clay will take advantage of that half spin. Slithers on through on the inside there. That was very smooth considering the nature of that corner. Doesn't lend well to any of that. Nico Boucher slowly closing in on that Mercedes in the lead. DRS moment, get ratioed. Mickey De Jong is hanging with Piché, but he doesn't have much of a chance of passing him, although at the moment neither driver's got any batteries, so it's hard to say for sure. There's a yellow back here, I couldn't tell you for what. Doesn't seem like anybody is going any slower than usual. Looks like I just need to open my eyes. What? I don't think that's quite how the DRS chicken works. You let him go. Was that intended? These are confusing times. Compound your misery, Dylan Thomas. It only gets worse from here. Spins beget more spins, this story has shown. Like even earlier in this race has shown, with the likes of Julius Dooku having a multitude of successive spins, but then the second he gets on the softer tires, he's running relatively well. Piché is definitely he's gonna have DRS again here, obviously. Unless he spins. No. My ability to speak things into existence isn't quite that potent, unfortunately. However, he still is gonna be too wide with Mikey as they head towards T1. Wheel-to-wheel contact. Nothing groundbreaking though, or anything. Andrew Davis has disconnected as Dylan Thomas spins once again. Piché is still very much close enough. He might probably going to be looking at an attempt number 2 here. The difference in battery is marginal, but the difference in DRS is paramount. This time Piché will take the inside, but it hardly matters what lane he takes because he's going to get the position well before we hit the brakes anyhow. Now it remains to be seen, can Nico Piche get away from Mikey? Because the way things are going, if he can do that, second place is more or less his. And he can, you know, try and go after Liam for the lead. But he's not going to be able to do that if Mikey's just pestering him. Andrew's back, and he hasn't lost that much time, all things considered, considering, you know, mainly considering he left the race, but I'm getting drowsy now, I find myself. Mikey's in DRS range, but he's not on the battery, and he's not all that close, so I don't think Mikey has any particular interest in making a move right now. Maybe he just figures he can just follow Nico up to the leader. But I don't know if it's necessarily a guarantee that they're going to catch the leader at this rate. Don't give it too long, and Al-Hazmi's medium, or no, not medium, hard tires will start to come back into play. Could say the same thing for Clay as well, but he is pretty far back from, well, the lead four. He could get Francis towards the end of the GP, but I don't know if he's going to be able to close in on the rest of the cars ahead of Francis, which will be multiple seconds up the road. He certainly won't be catching the other Williams too much, Abdurrahman, because they're going to be on the same tire compound. We're going to see the lap time comparisons between 13.4.3.4 for Liam. Nico, since being cleared of Mikey, has run 4.5, so it seems the laps are pretty much the same-ish between the lead two. So if Mikey's ingenious plan is, in fact, to sit behind the Ferrari and just wait for him to catch Liam, that doesn't seem like that's going to be happening, because Liam is actually very much holding his own as far as pace goes, and that wasn't really a super competitive lap either from Piche, not one related to Liam. But De Jong's probably the best place to put the camera as Dylan Thomas gets a penalty, as he's the only car within DRS range of anybody on this racetrack at the moment. He's staying at that 5 to 8 tenths range of, I'm getting your DRS, but I'm also not getting your dirty air. Yeah, just looking at the interval between the last 3 laps, it's remained at that 3.2, 3.3 range for pretty much that whole span, so Mikey may soon want to invest in trying to... There's a spin from Kyler Boggs, I believe that was, yeah. Mikey might want to look into some alternatives to get at least second place out of this, and try and sneak his way ahead of the Ferrari, who's even pushing his DRS. Liam is very clearly not doing that too much. and Mikey's using it sparingly. The heck. Oh, Dylan Thomas is being lapped. I'm like, what's going on there? There's nothing, I don't see anybody there. Well, it's because you're looking for the car in last. You know, they've been recycling that, that local track announcer, like, sound file since, like, 2016 at least. It's the same lines at every track for every game for the last 6 years. As Dylan Thomas's day just keeps getting worse. Now it's a speeding penalty, as if being 40-some seconds behind everybody else wasn't enough of a problem. Just add 5 more. Screw it at this point. Francis is, or at least was, within a second of Julius Dooku. However, that has since changed following a small shakiness on the steering. I can't say I wasn't expecting a little bit like this. Francis has DRS, so he will slowly reel the Haas in. That's a weird-looking Haas striker. He'll slowly reel Julius Dooku in just passively by existing near him. Until eventually he reaches the point where he can just straight up overtake. I'm kind of looking forward to that moment, because I would like some action somewhere between now and the checkers. Doesn't have to be a battle. If somebody wants to spin and bring out a last minute safety car, oh my word, I have outspoken into existence. That's the sand trap. That excursion only cost him 1 place. That is how absolutely fanned out this field is at the moment. It's spread like butter. Andrew Davis has caught Jurgensmeyer for P8. So we have 3 potential battles, but they just have to, like, develop into something of use. As I think Boggs and Dylan Thomas are both around. Right, he's awfully close to the back of the Ferrari. He must now be realizing that Liam is not an object in sight. He just wants points. It's either that or Nico made a critical mistake in the last lap or two when I was not looking at him, and oh, well, that was a mistake. I don't know about critical, but it was a mistake. DRS, but not even the slimmest chance of passing the Haas before the turns, so... I think in this last tiny bit of the race, the hard tires might start to become faster than the medium tires are. For the people on the hard tires, I certainly hope that's the case. Otherwise, it's kind of going to be just pointless. Now, normally I'd be saying, like... What's the number? I think my brain just had an incomplete thought there. I think chances are good. The three cars that are near other people on the track are probably just waiting for the last lap to make the pass when it counts. I think I was about to say some among the ones was... oh my god. This needs race to get over with. I've become very drowsy. That wasn't obvious. I'd get up and splash some water on my face, but the race is going to be over in 2 minutes anyway, so I didn't see a point. Bruh. We've reached the final lap, so this is the lap that counts, and I'm sure now is when we're going to see all the drivers that can make passes try and get them done. As expected, Al-Hazmi now has the fastest car on the track, and the fastest lap he's got proves as such, but it might be a day late and $1 short for him, as he's a second off of his teammate, who's currently busy trying to pass a Ferrari. Bruh. DRS assistance for Andrew Davis, but he's not all that close to the car in front, so there will be no overtake there either. Dylan Thomas is pitting on the leader's final lap. I don't really know if that's allowed, but I don't even know if it matters from where he is on the track. It's not the final lap for him, I'll tell you that much. So out of the last turn. Oh dear lord, you had one more corner to go, Mikey De Jong. Now, Liam Angelcare manages to control the Grand Prix, and he grabs the victory here at the Dutch Grand Prix. Mikey De Jong with the ultimate bottle goes from third to fourth in the last turn. I guess if you had to lose a position, lose it to your teammate, so your team still gets all points. Andrew Davis is nowhere close to Jurgensmeyer, and even if he did pass him, he has a penalty there, so... Luke Allen has an unserved time penalty that literally changes nothing. And the Dutch Grand Prix is over. How did his car not break there? Not Dylan Thomas' best work, I don't think. I think if that's anybody's best work, they ought to just go play Forza. So... But almost doze off again in the podium celebration. I'm sure the second I'm out of the stream, I'm probably going to be wide awake again, just because nothing's happened in the last 15 laps. So the final finishing order here from the Netherlands. Liam Angelo Carreg finally defeats Nico Piche, ending his reign of tyranny over ARC. For now. He still places second, followed by Abdurrahman Al-Hazmi. Mikey De Jong, the reserve driver, Clay, finishes P5 over Francis Farrar and Jonathan Jurgensmeyer. Julius Duku, who managed to salvage something out of nothing, based on how the first half of this GP went. Andrew Davis, the 9th, and Luke Allen grabs the final point. Only 2 DNFs. One was just a manual retirement of the pits, so much less attrition than we're used to seeing here in the ARC Formula 1 Championship. And that will wrap things up this week. As for the next round, I have to assume we're done with the European Tour, so I don't know what happens after that. I used to know. It used to be Russia and then Asian Pacific, but we don't have Russia anymore, so does it just cut straight to Singapore? Again, it's one of those cases. When it comes to me estimating what the next track is, take it with a grain of salt, because I am usually clueless. But at any rate, whatever track it may be, join us next time for hopefully more closely contested ARC Formula 1 Grand Prix.